In this tutorial, I'm showing you step by step how to make this Bridgerton inspired Earl Grey lemon cake. I'll show you how to master 6 essential entremet layer techniques and how to build every layer of the cake from start to finish. My name is Louise and I'm a self-taught cake artist and recipe developer. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create the most stunning Earl Grey and lemon cake. I'm a huge Bridgerton fan and this cake is inspired by the Bridgerton books and TV series to celebrate the upcoming season 4. To make the cake, this video will teach you how to master 6 different entremet layer techniques. A moist Earl Grey cake, a crispy Earl Grey and lemon crunch, a zesty Earl Grey and lemon ganache, a super creamy vanilla whipped ganache, a smooth Earl Grey mousse, and a shiny white chocolate mirror glaze. You can find the full recipe on my website, which you can access with a subscription. If you want to learn more about how to make elegant, layered, and delicious entremet cakes, you can now check out my online course, Master Entremet Cakes at Home, where I show you how to create professional quality cakes from start to finish, right from your own kitchen. Inside the course, I teach you my 5-step formula that I use for all my cakes: cake base, crunch, creamy element, mousse, and decoration. You'll also learn how to make 5 of my signature entremet cakes, different glazing techniques, discover recipe development and cake design, and also receive PDF troubleshooting guides and Excel recipe course material, giving you everything you need to start creating your own cakes at home. Alright, let's get started! To me, Bridgerton is all about tea-inspired flavors to resemble the afternoon tea, romantic details, and pastel-colored flowers. So when I decided to make a Bridgerton cake, I therefore knew that I wanted to make something with Earl Grey. I love the flavor of the aromatic tea, which is why I'm starting this cake by making an Earl Grey cake. I knew I wanted to create a bit of a taller cake, as I think a cake with many layers fits well with the afternoon tea theme, which is why I'm making 2 cakes. I first start out by making an Earl Grey infusion to get a prominent flavor. I do this by heating milk almost to a boil, adding lots of Earl Grey tea, and let it soak for 15 to 20 minutes to get a strong infusion. I then strain the mixture in a refined sieve to get a pure infusion that we'll use later on in the cake. The next step is to mix all the dry ingredients and Earl Grey tea that I've grinded into a fine powder. Then I'm whisking soft butter and sugar in a bowl until more pale and fluffy. I'm then adding eggs and vanilla paste. I mix in the dry ingredients and lastly buttermilk and the Earl Grey infusion until just combined. Since I'm using a generous amount of Earl Grey, I've adjusted the amounts of buttermilk and flour, because Earl Grey absorbs liquid, so this ensures that the cake stays moist and doesn't dry out. We then put the batter into pastry rings and bake the cakes at 175 degrees fan assisted oven for 13 to 17 minutes. Once the cake has cooled, I cut off the top so they're 1.5 cm tall and put the first Earl Grey cake in a clean pastry ring with acetate sheet. We'll save the other cake for later. I then put the cake in the freezer while preparing the crunch layer. To have a mix of moist, crunchy, and creamy textures in the cake, I added a crunchy element with Earl Grey but also a bit of lemon, because Earl Grey and lemon is truly a fantastic flavor combination if you ask me, as the zesty flavor really brings out the Earl Grey flavor and gives it a fresh twist. I start out by melting white chocolate and then mixing in feuilletine, Biscoff cream, fine grinded Earl Grey powder, salt, and a bit of lemon zest. The lemon here helps amplify the Earl Grey notes and balance the flavors. I spread half of the crunch on top of the Earl Grey cake, level the layer, and put the cake back in the freezer where it needs to set before I can add the ganache. We'll save the rest of the crunch for later. Now for our fudgy cake layer, I wanted to make a sassy ganache to highlight the lemon flavor even more, which is why I ended up making a lemon and Earl Grey ganache. This layer has a prominent fresh flavor from the lemon, yet also a hint of Earl Grey, which I think perfectly combine the two flavors. This lemon layer is also what balances the other flavors in the cake, ensuring that the cake isn't too sweet. I start out by making a fresh Earl Grey infusion, where I'm using heavy cream instead of milk, because the higher fat content in heavy cream helps bind the ganache and gives it a more rich fudgy set, which we also need for a stable cake. I then strain the mixture to get a pure Earl Grey infusion. The next step is to melt white chocolate and pouring it in a bowl. I chose to use white chocolate as that allows the lemon flavor really to shine through. I then heat lemon juice and Earl Grey infusion almost to a boil before pouring it over the chocolate while stirring in the middle. I hand blend the ganache to get a fully smooth consistency and then pour it over the thick crunch layer. We're actually gonna need a second portion of the ganache later, but since it would set before the assembly, I'm only making one batch now and preparing the second one later. I put the cake back in the freezer where it needs to set before we can add the vanilla whipped ganache. To balance the Earl Grey and lemon flavor in the cake, as these two are strong flavor notes, I wanted to make a layer focused on vanilla. I therefore decided to make my very favorite vanilla whipped ganache, as this one just has the most amazing super creamy texture and also an amazing vanilla flavor. I start out by cutting the vanilla beans and scraping out the seeds. I then heat heavy cream with the vanilla beans and the seeds just until the boiling point, then remove it from the heat so the vanilla fully can infuse for a more pronounced flavor, where I let it soak for around 15 minutes. We can now reheat the cream until almost a boil, remove the vanilla pods and add soaked gelatin before pouring it over the chopped white chocolate. After it's set for around 1 minute, I hand blend to combine and then add cold heavy cream and blend again. I put the cream in a bowl, cover the surface with cling film, and then the cream needs to set in the fridge for minimum 3 hours before we can whip it up and fill it in the cake. After the ganache has fully set in the fridge, I whip half of it to medium peaks, place it in a piping bag and pipe a 1.5 cm layer on top of the thick ganache. I save the remaining unwhipped ganache for later when we are gonna assemble the second part of the cake. Once I level the layer, we can finish assembling the cake. Now that we have one layer of each component, it's time to repeat the process to build depth of flavor and get a clean layered cake that fits perfectly with the Bridgerton afternoon tea vibe. I here put the second Earl Grey cake on top of the whipped vanilla ganache and gently level the layer. I put the cake back in the freezer for approximately 10 minutes just so the surface can set up a little before I add the remaining Earl Grey and lemon crunch layer. While the crunch is setting in the fridge, I make the second batch of the lemon and Earl Grey ganache in the same way as earlier and pour it onto the cake. I again put the cake back in the freezer while the ganache needs to set for approximately 1 to 2 hours as the surface needs to be set before we can add one last layer. I whip up the remaining vanilla whipped ganache and again spread a 1.5 cm thick layer on top of the cake. After leveling this layer, the cake needs to freeze fully overnight. To wrap the cake and round off the flavors, I'm here making an Earl Grey mousse. This mousse has a light and smooth texture that brings some lightness to the cake. It also has a prominent Earl Grey flavor from an infusion, which is a great contrast to the lemon ganache. This mousse will not only encase the frozen cake, but will also be used in a bubble mold to create a Bridgerton-like decorative element that will go on top of the cake. I here start out by melting white chocolate and pouring it in a bowl. We're then making a fresh Earl Grey infusion with milk to give the mousse a more light consistency. And yes, we do need a lot of Earl Grey for this infusion, that is infusing for around 15 to 20 minutes, as this mousse should have a strong tea flavor. I then here strain the mixture to get a pure Earl Grey infusion. The next step is to heat the infusion and just a bit of heavy cream almost to a boil, whisk in soaked gelatin, and pour the hot cream over the chocolate while stirring in the middle with a spatula. After it's cooled off, I whip heavy cream to lightly whipped cream and fold it into the Earl Grey white chocolate mixture. We then put the mousse in a bubbled silicone mold that will go on top of the cake and pour the rest of the mousse in a round silicone mold. The frozen cake is then gently put in the mousse with the vanilla whipped ganache facing downwards. I put the cake back in the freezer one more time so it fully can freeze overnight. From the very beginning, when I first got the idea to make this cake, I knew I wanted to make something in a kind of a dusty pastel green to give it a vintage vibe. Because to me, the Bridgerton universe is all about pastel colors, and I thought this would be a nice color to match with the different flowers that I'm going to decorate the cake with. I did consider glazing the bubble mousse in a different color, maybe white, but decided against it as I thought it would introduce too many colors alongside the floral decorations. I make the glaze by first putting white chocolate in a tall jug, soaking gelatin sheets in cold water, and putting it aside while preparing the syrup. In a pot, I'm heating glucose syrup, sugar, water and heavy cream almost to a boil, whisking in soaked gelatin before pouring it over the white chocolate. I mix with an immersion hand blender and add a bit of white, green and black food coloring paste to achieve a dusty green color. Then the glaze needs to cool to 34 to 35 degrees before we can glaze the cake. Once the glaze has cooled, I place the fully frozen cake and bubble mousse on a baking cooling rack and pour the 34 to 35 degrees over the mousse and the cake. I first remove the glaze excess from the cake by moving the cake around on the baking cooling rack with 2 palette knives and place the cake on a cake plate. I then quickly, before the mousse defrosts, do the same with the mousse and carefully place it in the middle on top of the cake. For the bubble mousse, it's important to remove as much glaze excess as possible, as any glaze left in the bottom will be visible on the finished cake. And then it's time for the final decoration. This cake design is somewhat a bit different from my normal cakes, as I normally never would mix all these colors of green, white, pink, purple and blue, as there's usually too many colors to get a balanced look. However, Bridgerton is all about colorful flowers, so I wanted to make an exception for this cake and still make it look balanced. I start out by making 2 chocolate ribbons that has almost the same color as the glaze in order not to introduce different shades of green for the cake itself. For the final step, I'm decorating the top of the cake on the bubble mousse with different pink flowers, blue flowers, purple flowers, white flowers, and lastly different green leaves. I was inspired by this color palette, as pale, soft blues, purples, and greens often are seen throughout the Bridgerton series. And here we have the final cake that I think looks so elegant. Despite my usual rules for color combinations, I really do love this color palette that gives the cake a romantic, vintage vibe, countryside look.
Bridgerton is one of my favorite TV series, and I've been so excited for the new season that I wanted to make a cake inspired by the show. That's why I decided to make an Earl Grey cake, because I thought this would kind of be a nice reference to the afternoon tea that is like very Bridgerton. I really do think that this cake tastes absolutely amazing, because I love Earl Grey and there is a lot of Earl Grey in this cake, but still balanced with some freshness from the lemon and rounded off with the vanilla. So to me, this really is a perfect Bridgerton cake to celebrate the new season. I hope you get the chance to make this outstanding Earl Grey cake at home. And if you like my videos, make sure to subscribe. You can also check out my Entremet cake playlist here. See you in the next video.